Should I admit or wait for the full screen?
Yeah, full screen kar lo Neha. You admit. Okay. She'll do it.
So I'll admit now, ma'am.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
the best.
All the
All the
best.
best to all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I start now?
Yes, Rupal, you can start.
Yes. Yeah.
Good afternoon to one and all. I, Dr. Rupali Sengupta, as LEC member of NSI Mumbai, welcome you all for today's webinar. Before we start, I have been given honor to introduce about NSI and its objectives. So let me share my screen. Nutrition Society of India was established in 1967 with the Association of Nutrition Professional, Programmers and Policy Makers from India and abroad. Its objective is to disseminate the results of the latest research in nutrition, to analyze the current status of nutrition programs in the country. It also recommends appropriate strategies to promote nutrition of the community at large. It provides a forum for young scientists to present their research findings. NSI is the recognized Indian representative of International Union Nutritional Sciences through the adhering body Indian National Science Academy and Federation of Asian Societies of Nutrition. Few of the activities of NSI Mumbai chapter I would like to summarize. We have celebrated various days and at national and international level, that is National Science Day, World Health Day, World Food Safety Day, International Yoga Day, World Breastfeeding Week, National Nutrition Month, and also World Food Day. Our chapter has also organized community outreach programs for the nutrition and the health awareness for a nutrition and the health awareness programs to disseminate the scientific information, and also the publication in the nutritional guidelines and training manuals. We have also done community outreach program such as World Food Day, Breastfeeding Day. Also, we have done the workshop on the food safety. Our chapter has also done the capacity building workshop in the location of Raigad for the community workers, also the awareness session for the Anganwadi worker on anemia, hygiene, sanitation, eat right, and the recipe demonstration was conducted. We have disseminated the scientific publications where the our chapter has celebrated National Science Day and also conducted the state level seminar on transition from food security to nutritional security. We have also celebrated the World Food Day on October 16, so as the Nutrition, the Community and the Research Perspective Seminar, and the Nutrition in Emergencies on 16th October. This chapter has also done the Indian Clinical Dietary Recommendation, publication on Indian Clinical Dietary Recommendation for Metabolic Syndrome and GI conditions, with the eminent experts from medical and nutrition fields were involved in the formulation for this. We have also developed the nutrition training manual for doctors and nurses. Our chapter has also collaborated with other registered association and industries such as Association of Sports, Nutrition and Fitness Sciences, where we have done the Kowsalya in Pune in the month in January 2019. In the Power Talk with the NSI Mumbai chapter, our own NSI members have participated over there. And with the industries such as InBody Academia, we have conducted the national workshop. Scientific session on oncology therapy, and the recent updates was done by our LEC member, Dr. Monal Velangi. NSI Mumbai chapter has won the Best Chapter Award in the year 2018-19 under the convenership of Dr. Shubhadra Mandalika. Our constructive efforts in the lockdown is the convocation on social media, immunonutrition, health and nutrition communication. With this, I would like to now invite Dr. Neha Joshi, who will take you to the about the nutrition activities on the social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rupali. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. We are always flooded with information online in relation to health and nutrition. There are so many posts which are made by individual bloggers who are not really qualified to disseminate such kind of information. In order to overcome this problem, and provide the general public with authentic information, we have started a social media page on both Facebook and Instagram. We have been sharing a lot of different posts on our page related to health and nutrition. Let us now look at some of the posts which we have shared, which have been created by qualified professionals and which are evidence-based and scientific. For example, role of fluid intake in health, role of different nutrients in immunity, role of spices in immunity, then pre and probiotics in general health as well as immunity. We also have shared some posts raising awareness on how climate change affects our health. We also celebrate certain days like the World Parkinson's Days, World Parkinson Day, World Thyroid Day, etc. We have also come up with certain recipes where mothers can involve children while cooking. We also share some of the other information related to unhealthy foods, healthy foods, then giving some sources of nutrients, etc. We have been sharing many more such posts on our social media page, and you can find us by using hashtag NSI, hashtag NSI India, hashtag NSI Mumbai, hashtag Nutrition Society of India. You can also subscribe to our pages, which goes by the name NSI Mumbai on Facebook, NSI.Mumbai on Instagram. We also have our YouTube channel, that is Nutrition Society of India Mumbai Chapter, where we post videos of our webinars. If you want to contribute to the NSI posts on social media, you can drop in a mail at nsimumbai.sm@gmail.com. We have been getting a lot of queries regarding membership of Nutrition Society of India. The membership is obtained through our headquarters, which is based at NI in Hyderabad. You simply need to go on the website www.nutritionsocietyindia.org, and under the membership tab, you will get all the information regarding the type of membership, fees, and process of acquiring membership. Thank you all, and I now hand over the proceedings to Dr. Subhadra Mandlika.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reha Joshi. I take great pleasure to welcome each one of you. Myself, Dr. Subhadra Mandalika, convener of the chapter. It's my privilege to introduce today's speaker, Dr. S. Kowsalya, to all of you. Dr. Kowsalya is a registrar of a reputed institute, Avinash Lingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore. She is a professor of food science and nutrition at the same institute. With her vast experience of over 30 years in teaching, research, extension activities, and administrative responsibilities, she has proved herself in each of these fields so meticulously. Dr. Kowsalya has not restricted herself to classroom teaching. She has produced 640 e-lessons for PG students in food science and nutrition. With her passion in the field of research, she has coordinated various research projects and development activities as well, which are sponsored by UGC, DST, and other reputed organizations. And her research outcome has been published in over 75 national and international journals of repute, and she has also published around 13 books and booklets. And very important to mention is 15 of her research papers have won Best Chapter awards. She has successfully guided 7 PhD scholars and several postgraduate students in their research. Member of various reputed organizations, Dr. Kowsalya has won various awards. I will not be going through each and every award, but certain awards I have highlighted here. Sorry for the technical issue here. She has won the Best Teacher Award and Tamil Nadu Scientist Award from Tamil Nadu government for her research in social sciences, and Women Achiever Award also. And I cannot restrain myself from mentioning her active role in the Nutrition Society of India. As a convener of Coimbatore chapter, she led her chapter to win 3 times the Best Chapter Award in recognition of all the efforts that their chapter has put in. and she has served the Nutrition Society of India headquarters in the capacity of executive committee member, and currently she is the joint secretary. She is a performer. She is also an achiever and very, very humble in nature. Today, she is going to share her valuable expertise with all of us on managing the food security within the available resources. I now welcome Dr. Kowsalya and request her to begin her session.
Good evening, everybody. I thank the Mumbai Chapter of Nutrition Society of India, especially Dr. Subhadra, who is the convener of Mumbai Chapter of NSI, and her entire team for giving me this golden opportunity to speak on managing food security within the limited resources. I'm very happy to be online because I could see all faculty and students who are studying food science and nutrition, agriculture, and food security per se. You can see here, I have projected 3 eminent scientists who have worked very hard for agriculture, food science, nutrition, and food security. Our pranams to the legend, Dr. C. Gopalan, who laid the foundation of nutritional sciences in India, whom we lost him recently, but Sir's blessings will always be with all of us in NIN and also the NSI group and students and faculty. Coming to Dr. Ajamal P. Devadas, who is our mentor and an international home scientist and nutritionist who was also the president of NSI. Our pranams to her, and Madam received the IUNS award. NSI is affiliated to IUNS, and Madam received this, we call her Amma affectionately, during 2001 at Austria, Vienna. And coming to this topic, and the living legend, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who has laid the foundation of Green Revolution in India, and the topic goes to him. Nobody can say that he is the legendary scientist behind agriculture, food science and nutrition, and food security per se. You can see the agriculture field now, which is the backbone of India. And I think long since we travel and we have seen the actual field. So I'm giving you this slide. Hope you're enjoying it. Coming to what is food security, though all the students and faculty know about it, I think I will touch upon the definitions because students are working during lockdown and they need to be reiterated with food security. It exists when all people at all times for physical and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs as per the World Food Summit 1996 FAO. And it is actually the main source for all of us. And for the past many years, the concept of food security has been considered at global, national, regional, state, household, and individual level. So we have to talk about the national level as well as the individual household food security. So what is nutrition security? As all of you know, it goes beyond just the availability and access to food, but it also includes a healthy environment, good caring practices, assimilation of nutrients to ensure good health. So what is this? All of you know, you must have used for your food security seminars. It is nothing but it indicates that all people have access to food, physical, economic access to food at all times, and you can use these logos as prescribed by the FAO of the United Nations. So what are the basic aims of this food and nutrition security? All of you know this. I repeat because you're hearing from time to time the different concepts of food science and nutrition. What is number one? It is ensuring production of adequate food supplies, maximizing stability in the flow of supply, and ensuring access to available supply and to reach the masses. So what are the 4 pillars of food security as laid down by the FAO? As we have seen in the aim, availability, access, stability, and of course utilization finally, which ensures nutrition security. What is food security we have seen, and why is food security important? You must be knowing, but still I say, because it is a topic of not to debate, but a point to accept in daily life to ensure household food security and individual food security at home level, especially during the lockdown period with limited resources. So earlier, we thought it's a concept from mere macro level availability and stability, but now to micro level household food insecurity, and it is also by the assessment of various indicators of malnutrition, including especially on energy intake. So what is national food security? This has to be dependent on adequate availability of sufficient food stocks to fully satisfy the domestic needs at all times. When I say all times, it means that during COVID-19 period also, which is to be ensured through domestic and also during production, then distribution, import, export, and production per se. Coming to an overview, which is fundamental, in 1960s we had this insecurity. Food grain production was affected. Green revolution came in. Later, white revolution came in, where the father of food security, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, along with Dr. C. Subramaniam, played an important role in India to secure food and nutrition for all people at all times. Later, of course, we underwent a period of insecurity. And coming to the household security and world hunger, the index was developed, and in 2000s, we had this because of increasing population pressure, the distribution and economic access to food was disturbed and it was adequate. And that is the scenario we have to consider now. Though we had the stocks at the market, because of the transport inadequacy, we could not supply to people at all times during COVID-19, especially during the initial phases of lockdown. So what are the factors that affect the demand and supply? It is nothing but level of domestic food production. Then it is the food import, and of course the distribution of food, which calls for during COVID-19. Now during the relaxed period, everyone has access, but the poorest of the poor depend on community kitchen for food distribution or from other social sectors. And of course, government plays an important role in the distribution of food through PDS, which we will see later. Then about the growth of the population demand, and of course the products which are distributed, which are produced, and the role of ICDS, World Food Program, and other programs internationally, and also the national programs through Government of India, and also through the respective state governments. So what is this COVID-19? All of you must have read a lot, and now you must be little relaxed in the sense Maharashtra is very panicky. Even in Tamil Nadu, Chennai is becoming, the number is increasing. So take our food in a proper way to meet the RDA, and of course immunity has to be enhanced, which you must have seen even in Dr. Sashikaran's address as to how to enhance the security. So for this, to meet the immunity, enhance the immunity, first of all, we have to meet the food and nutrition security at national level, household level, individual level. For this, at international level, G20 Agriculture Ministers meeting was held during April, wherein many food players, the organizations, international organizations, played an important role, and they said there is dramatic loss of human life across the world. We have seen in Wuhan and China initially. Now we see the trend in India. And here I have given you a map where the level is recorded in each place and how the pandemic is affecting not only physically, but mentally and socially. So which defines as how the health is affected globally and in India. So what is this? It says, you can see here, the change, it causes unprecedented challenges with deep social and economic consequences. As you see, during COVID-19, a farmer is just lying and how the situation can be handled and how we have to come out of this situation to distribute the food that he has harvested. So what was the goal before COVID-19? As per the recent release of ICAR, Ministry of Agriculture, with the weather forecast and predictions, normal rainfall, the government aimed to produce 25.6 million ton pulses and 36.64 million ton oil seeds this year. So the targeted in this table compares between 1920 and 2021, wherein you can see the statistics for rice, wheat, pulses, and the total food grains per se. So what does it say, this picture? It is, of course, I don't know whether this slide is very clear, but anyway, the losses from farmers' side is 60%. How it is distributed, the loss is 40% who experience the field loss, the farmers, and due to lack of labor, storage, transport, and of course, this was a conclusion from the Agriculture Ministry's survey and the data. So it says weather was also cited as a reason for the loss by 80% of all farmers, and around 30% of them were unable to harvest, of course, and totally 63% of farmers who could harvest, and of course, based on lockdown and lack of transportation between states, and even within the states, the border was closed due to the increase in number, and this is the total scenario of food insecurity right from harvest to the distribution. So what happens here? This is the recent data from ICAR talking about nutritional security and food security. They are finding out the sustainable way to alleviate malnutrition by releasing biofortified varieties. You can see here the different varieties of rice, pulse, and of course wheat with the rice with the increased amount of protein, increased amount of iron, and wheat with iron and zinc per se. So I want you to go to the Agriculture Ministry, get this book and read through to get the notes and start for your August or September classes. And of course, you will know where we are. And even agriculture students, when they are attending this, they will benefit out of it. So what is the situation as the G20, as I told you? The third one is compromising food and nutrition security, which is very, very important to meet the RDA and say health is obtained. So the countries decided to work together through global food trade, markets, food chains, and livestock. You can see, and under that is malnutrition, malnourished child with micronutrient deficiency being fed, and the map, the global map shows the trade across the countries. And of course, here is the China, the Wuhan, where the building was constructed to help the COVID-19 patients. Initially, maybe I thought it will be of interest to you, and a happy farmer with the livestock, but I do not know what the situation is now. This is an old picture, of course. So what are the challenges that we are facing in food security? Restriction, then we have social distancing norms and loss of income and labor shortage. All this has impact on the logistics of food supply in terms of shortage of high value added foods, especially perishables. During initial days, it was difficult to get perishable foods, especially vegetables and fruits, and the functional foods that we are dependent on immunity. And of course, now we get the market is open. And all these factors reduce the purchasing ability to, and of course, there is a difference between a consumer and also a buyer and the one who markets the product also. And the producers of perishable foods, they were affected. And farmers, of course, did not have income at all. And the foods were spoiled. And actually, that is how even a farmer now who's able to distribute the food during the initial stages, definitely micronutrient malnutrition and malnutrition per se would have been observed in poorest of the poor and low income families. So what is this? I want to reiterate, though all of us know, and especially those students and teachers who are working in academic institutions. First, our Honorable Prime Minister Ji, he himself talked about the trial curfew and everyone followed because it's a health issue. It was on 22nd, followed by the first day of lockdown. Why I am talking this? Because food and nutrition security differed during the different phases of lockdown per se, from 1, 2, and now between 4 and 5. And from 8th June, we are having unlock with limitations and relaxations. Though during first lockdown, we were really panicky, we were afraid, we didn't go out. Strict warning was given, all that. During second lockdown, of course, some relaxations were given. So people were taken for granted, and other courses were going on, and online classes and everything. And people thought they can go out, and other transport and everything was there. And during lockdown 3, 4, 5, more relaxation have come into. Online classes are, of course, going on, and all the academic institutions are given. The minister has addressed to conduct the exams in July. But of course, from 8th, even the restaurants have started, the big restaurants. Earlier, it was only food package. And recently, on June 7th, the FSSAI has given a very good, released a pamphlet and booklet on the safety measures to be followed in preparation, then procurement, delivery of foods, cooking, and for all that, which I will share one slide from that during the course. So during this lockdown, the food security, even I thought, I did a small survey with among the about 50 people, 50 families who belong to high income group, middle income group, and low income group. And of course, I had to discuss with some of the poorest of the poor for giving this lecture and to say actually what was the condition, so that I'll be sure of what I shared during food security during limited resources. So what are the outcomings? You should bear always that it is unemployment, low income, and of course rural distress. People of high income group were able to store the food initially, and they were able to even consume the food happily during the first period of lockdown, even if they were panic in mind and mentally, but of course they had food. But compared to middle income group and the low income group, and of course this disturbed that I say as inequality to access to food purchase and distribution, and role of, that is, the agencies like social service agencies, organizations, FCI, the PDS played an important role. And of course, you can see here the decrease to social services, even immunization, the child health care, all this led to hunger and malnutrition at all levels. And we can see how the flows through the pandemic. All of you know, every day we are seeing in paper. If not in paper, that was also prohibited. Now only paper is distributed. And now you can see every day in front of the TV, the data, and we see that now again a peak will come, and we have to make sure. I think during this circumstances, this talk, the NSI Mumbai chapter has arranged is very valid, and I again congratulate them. And what are the outcomes? It is continued. As you see here, all the countries decided that they will not be able to meet the total requirement as per the global nutrition report as to 8 nutrition goals by 2020. Because of this, we do not know, the situation is very new. Even people who are above 80, above 90 would not have experienced such situation with limited resources. So there is reduction in number of meals per day. That's why our Prime Minister Ji said we can opt one meal to someone who is in need. And that is what as nutritionists we should do. And we are all doing, I think, in some way or the other, directly or indirectly. So this you can see here from the community kitchen, the people are served the food, and there is a role for that. And dependency on ration foods and inadequate dietary intake and diseases, severely acute malnourished children we could see because of limited childcare services, and immunization programs were halted, screening was halted, and with all these, I think the poorest of the poor and low income group, especially women and children, were affected. So what is this? I've been talking about PDS. The public distribution system with the Food Security Act, which was passed earlier by the central government. I think all the states adopted, and the state of Tamil Nadu is also doing well. And all other states, if you even go to the website, everything is online. The smart ration cards are given. And in fact, tokens were given earlier, especially in rural areas, even in urban areas. And the Food Corporation of India also plays a big role, because the subsidies that are given, the free ration that is given to the rural masses is the boon to enhance their food and nutrition security. And they gave token, and people were assigned even days, particular days, along with a cash depending on the state, 1,000 or 2,000 was also given. Rice, wheat, pulses, sugar and oil. And of course, depending on the state, the sugar or jaggery pulses were given. Wheat and rice, of course, parboiled, raw rice and all that was given to meet at least the basic energy requirements. So when we say as farmers, we talked about PDS, and you can see here the stock of grains with the farmer. And in fact, 65 lakh farmers, what happens, 65 lakh tons of grains go to waste in the last 4 months as the poor go hungry, because there was a gap between the produce that was stored and actually distributed, which was received in hand. That is why this topic, as per the famous saying, a safe, affordable and plentiful supply of food is a national security issue, which was given even in the invitation by the Mumbai group. So how do we manage? So far we have seen the international figure, national figure, which was targeted by the Agricultural Ministry in India, what is to be produced and what we have done compared to 1920, and what are the outcomes of the pandemic and how the situation goes right now as it is increasing. So what is at household level? As I said, I did a quick survey to check with high income group. They had the purchasing power and they could stock the food groups, that is cereals, pulses, all the spices, everything they could buy and have at home. And in fact, though they were panicked during the first initial stages of the first lockdown, but they were able to prepare according to the RDA, in the sense, use all the cereals, pulses, even the millets, the oil seeds, oil, then, the other food groups like milk and seafoods, even fish, 1 or 2, they didn't get during the initial phases, and then they got it. At least almost their RDA was okay. But maybe in this group, high income group, even now, people are not going to offices, they work from home. And I see awareness is there, literacy is there. So distribution of food is there. They have access to shops, they go there, everything is there. But I feel there is a fear that even overweight and obesity may be expected. Though I also urge the students and staff even to check their weight if they have not done even now before they join the college or school. That will also be an indicator, and so that proper nutrition education can be given even online. So this is a situation that I happened to meet when a high income group, either in the universities or when I talked online. So middle income group, though they were literate, they had awareness. Sanitation, of course, was there because in TV, all awareness is given. But the purchasing power, depending on them, their locality differed. And of course, the ration, they were dependent on ration. Also, the foods, they may also be subjected to overweight or obesity. But definitely, based on the menu they had, I envisage that even undernutrition in terms of micronutrient deficiency can be seen in all the groups, because even in the high income group, whether there is zinc availability or beta carotene or iron, as we say in terms of vitamin A, whether it is fulfilled, we are not sure. Because one side energy balance is, that is energy intake is very high, expenditure is less, and of course all the three groups may end up in micronutrient deficiency. Low income group, because of low purchasing power, because of their proximity, they were depending on only ration and they were able to eat majority energy in the terms of kanji or gruel or rice with little, if they had space, they could grow some greens or something like that, which would come automatically, like if they had drumstick leaves or some greens, amaranthus, they consume. Otherwise, only gruel with some urga, pickle or something like that. So because of the low literacy, they wanted their salary and the daily wages. That is the priority. When I spoke to them, of course, they got 1,000 rupees ration, they could buy other things. Definitely, they would have suffered from malnutrition and micronutrient availability, because we could not conduct either a food frequency. I could do a survey online, but if we take real measures as to weighment or something, food frequency questionnaire. So all this, perhaps one side on obesity or overweight, another side definitely deficiency in terms of micronutrients, because though milk was available throughout, in interior villages, some were not able to access. So even probiotics like curds or buttermilk, they could not access to. So what is that we are facing? At the beginning of 2020, we had, you can see here, so many people, 135 million faced extreme hunger. But at the end of 2020, it's going to be even double and more than that. So extreme hunger. And I think, as I told you, this was released during April by the UN Secretary General. And we have to be very cautious, because on one side, we see the pandemic increasing. On one side, we have to be cautious on the death toll. On one side, definitely on nutrition and immunity, which comes from the basic food and security, food and nutrition security. So here, as all of us know, I'm just giving this because it's a colorful slide. It was also given in the invitation. What is the healthy eating plate? You can see what is more. So you have to eat lots of vegetables and fruits. And how you can have, the market is accessible now. But of course, through Coimbatore market from Chennai, the pandemic enhanced into a clustering in Chennai city. And of course, for your interest, how you have to govern yourself for eating more or less according to this. Your eating plate should be, and the eat well plate, you can see what is to be increased, what is to be decreased, and what you have to be conscious also. Please read this, reiterate and eat accordingly, so that you will enhance your immunity, as well as meet all the RDA for nutrients, which is very, very essential when we say as nutrition security. And this, for you to remember, the ICMR table I have given, because as a student, we always remember this table. So when you remember the plate, I want you to remember the quantity also in this term. So you have to, if not every day, daily, at least nutrition students and staff should see that what is your calorie, the food groups, whether it is fulfilled. Accordingly, even if you're going to office or you're working online, definitely it is a must, so that the children are not exposed to the non-communicable disorders in future. This is the RDA. Of course, for your interest, again, I have given. You can check the values. If you're sedentary, moderate, heavy, so you know which group we are belonging to. Now, we don't work much at all, only with papers and cell phones and media and social media. So we have to think, do more exercise, yoga, and do in that way the energy expenditure. So what is this apart from the central government through Ayush Ministry has done? Of course, for a reminder that Ayurveda, the Ayush Ministry, COVID-19 has given, it has come as a notification, and all of us are doing this practice by consuming lots of turmeric, ginger, tulsi in some way in form of tea. All that also is covered with food security and immune status and nutrition security. Siddha, you must have seen in Tamil Nadu that Kabasura Neer, that is a mixture of many herbs, which is suggested by the Tamil Nadu government. It is also given to people who are isolated, quarantined, and also who are patients. And the homeopathy has come out with the arsenic, that is the tablet, the small homeopathic tablets, which are also given free by the government through the homeopathic, that is the Ayush. So this, along with the popular other Ayush medicines or otherwise, you can see what we are daily taking. Turmeric, that is in terms of either, we add of course in all dishes, but we take precautions right from lockdown 1. We also add pepper in the tea, and you can add jeera. I usually daily prepare a glass of, that is bitter leaves, 1 or 2, turmeric, pepper, boil it, jeera, then you can filter, and I also eat the remaining also. So this is the black jeera, and tulsi, of course. Garlic we add in large quantities, because these are all functional foods which give immunity, and they are said to be have nutraceutical potentials because of the phytochemicals and bioactive components that are present. Of course, ginger, either in fresh form or in the dry form you can use, and cinnamon also is used in various varieties of foods as well as in powders, in powder form. Of course, this is a kitchen garden that I have shown. If you have place, you can grow. Otherwise, you can grow even, this was a project done by us with the DST anemia. I have focused earlier also. This is in school we have done. This is also in a community place in village. We have trained to keep in pots and also in gunny bags all the amaranthus, because we use this for supplementation. So you can do this in your garden if you have a independent house, or if you have, you can use in your balcony or in the terrace with the gunny bags, or in a other buckets, or you can use a pot. You can use this. I have in my balcony, I live in an apartment, so I raise this amaranthus once in 15 days. I have put pannangani now, which is also has high vitamin A content, and of course I have others like curry leaves, which is in the garden, in the apartment, and also I have other seeds like methi and others also I grow in the balcony. So when these are the ways how the diverse income groups, high or middle income, I've said, for want of just interest, I showed the photos of raising kitchen garden. You can grow even drumstick leaves, mango, all these during the lockdown if you have place. And of course, for high and middle income, coffee, tea or milk, idli, upuma, I think even bread, chapati in different states, wheat or wheat flour dosai, wheat upuma or suji upuma, along with chutney or sugar or other types of sugar. Then we have during lunch, that is either rice, then we have whole green gram sambar, or the green gram or other tur dal with that sambar and mashed, and rasam is a must. Depending on high or middle, sambar may be there or rasam may be there, and some vegetable poriyal. And initial stages of lockdown, we could not go out. When I surveyed, people said they prepared either appalam, which is very strenuous of course, but vadagam is easy. It is a fried product which is made from rice flour. So they boil with this, and they prepare in a gruel form. They put it on a cloth, on a plastic paper, and dry it. This is the badam. So even with rice gruel, we can eat this, and with a pickle. That was even middle class people, when I surveyed, they did. And of course, biscuits and tea during the lockdown period. Dinner in Tamil Nadu, earlier, during 50 years, 30 years, 20 years back, they were consuming rice. In villages, in low-income group, rice is still there, and they eat even the leftover rice or kanji or gruel. But in affluent population, as middle income and high income, even in the hotels, restaurants, rice is not served compared to Andhra, only all the tiffin items. So in households also, chapati, dosa, upma with masala or kurma or chutney was eaten during this lockdown period. So you can even imagine, this was a picture from a high income group during the lockdown period with the rice. And of course here sambar is not shown, but instead from buttermilk we prepare what is called more korambu. I think accordingly it is called with different terms in North India and Kerala. And sambar is not there, but the main crux ingredient in sambar is dal, tur dal, or we use even green gram dal. But instead, the mixture of both with Bengal gram dal, we grind it together to prepare vada, And here during lockdown, a family prepared vada. So the dal requirement has gone into buttermilk. And it is called more korambu, which is also very delicious during the initial stages of lockdown. Children also like, in that way, the RDA is also fulfilled. You can see rasam with all the functional foods like turmeric, tomatoes and all that. And then green gram, amaranthus, poriyal, and of course a salad with cucumber and of course papaya. I asked them to prepare. When they prepared, they send the photo to me. And I am happy to share like this. Even you can record your foods, and accordingly, even the low income, I was able to interact, because poorest of the poor, we have to help them in some way or the other. Social organizations also play an important role. And this is what I told as recently the FSSAI has released food safety guidelines during Food Safety Day on June 7th. And the book is very interesting. Of course, this is also in social media, and what we have seen in the ministry and the hygienic practices as we adopt. I just reiterate, hand washing is a must for 20 minutes, even our own. The ordinary soap that we are using is enough. When you go out, you can use sanitizers. But even when you go out and come, bathing is very, very important, because you work with people and go home. Accordingly, you have to take care, and you have to change the dress. And of course, you have to be sure of all the mobile phones and others also clean with the sanitizers. And of course, about the footwear and clothes, and I have already mentioned, it is especially a guideline which is released by FSSAI for COVID-19. This is, of course, very interesting. From 8th, the restaurants are open. A site of a famous hotel called Annapurna, which is opened on 8th. How the social distancing, because I'm not able to see the other states and things like that. Somebody sent this photo. I thought this is how it says. But I pray to God Almighty that people maintain their distancing, their safety, and also, of course, it is a good hotel. They practice food hygienic practices, and hope the hotel maintains the guidelines which is given by the central government. It is for interest that I have given. I've been talking about the low income group, what they are doing. You can see a picture down with and of course, all this, when it is available, either they have black coffee, sukku coffee, or black tea in villages. During the initial lockdown, they just had leftover rice. They could not even have the access to ration shops. It took 10 days, 1 week. Of course, kanji or boiled tapioca. In Tamil Nadu, in different parts, even near Kanyakumari and other places, when I had to rang up to all places, even boiled tapioca, either in boiled or in the form of poriyal they had. Coming to lunch, they had cooked, that is ration rice, rasam with jeera water, whatever they had with curry leaves, and of course buttermilk. If they had access to vegetables like greens and all from their garden, they had, because 1,000 rupees was given, they could have access to roadside, and wherever they could get the greens, they were able to cook and just to boil, add it with rice and eat. And in fact, poorest of the poor, really they suffered during the first lockdown. Still in many pockets they are suffering. And you could see in TV, even the migrant workers suffered for food security and nutrition security. In this we have to bear in mind our finance minister talking about the central government talking about one ration all over India, so that even if the migrant workers are placed in another place, they can have access to ration. And of course, these low-income families, they had tea, only tea, and during dinner, again, the leftover gruel or some fried chilies or appalam, if it is available from the market or somebody, they give where they work, the places, the masters, if they give some food or appalam or something, they just take it home with a pickle they eat. So I just spoke to some of the people who are in Nilgiris areas. The Adivasis are there, and of course tribal people are there. different groups like Kirula, then Paniyas and different places. They are there. This is one of the normal group. They said they had this food, but of course, all these they could not during the normal situation. During limited resources, they were affected like anything because on one side, it is sliding and windfall and rainfall and all that. They could not have access, and poorest of the poor of the people who could not even get access to ration or others. Some of them got at their home site itself, but some of them, they went even in TV, I observed in Tamil Nadu, in Nilgiris and other interior places, they were like near forest places. They were getting access to and trying to get even some of the worms and, the flies and some of the, even the other species that they eat as normally. It is the normal food I have given. Don't mistake, it is taken during COVID. They said some, so they were trying because they were really hungry and were suffering from hunger. And now it is coming to us on Nilgiris and PDS is operating. I think now they are better, but we have to government's helping. In some way, if we can help the local people, it will be of good. My friends, fish Colombo is there. Even poorest of the poor try to get and eat with the leftover rice, the Colombo or something, fish Colombo, or it's called as, the dried fish they eat with the rice. Even poor people do only with these two. Of course, jaggery is given, that karpati is given in the ration itself. And depending on whether they are middle income or high income, they had, of course, the low income group had boiled tapioca. The high income and the middle income, they had puttu with kadalakari and of course fish korambu. And then they had buttermilk, plantain, Nandram is very popular, jackfruit, and of course mango. The poor people, if they had trees, they were able to have access to vegetables and fruits like this. And I was able to talk to. So of course, rice is given importance even for lunch and dinner. And gongura, they didn't fail. During the first week, first 2 weeks, they had problems. They expressed they could not have access. When the markets were open and local neighboring, they were able to get, if not gongura, other green leafy vegetables. Some of them had access. Of course, the ready to eat one is also now available. Chapati and of course the brinjal, that is very popular. Some of them, they told that they prepared the brinjal curry and vegetable curry, which is typical of Andhra Pradesh, which we have even, you can imagine, we have tasted at NIN. And of course, pesarettu, which is popular both in Andhra and Karnataka. So depending on the high income, low income, the food security was met. And definitely, either one side, I repeat, overweight, obesity, on another side, people were too conscious about immunity. Of course, this is definitely essential. But whether RDA is met, I'm not sure, because definitely micronutrient deficiency will be there. This is a very interesting slide. As you can see here at the right end, you can see me. With mask and all the other students, of course, the gentleman who's a lab technician. I think if I remember this, 20 years back, when I went to NIN and took my students, every alternate year I take them to NIN. When I was in the department, now I have taken administrative post and of course attend NSI. So we stayed inside NIN and we visit all the laboratories. When we visited the animal lab, they asked us to wear this mask and of course the boot also. So what happens here? One of my students, Jayashree, she sent this photo yesterday. I thought I'll incorporate because this is relevant to this time. And we were thinking at that time it was so inconvenient wearing this and entering the laboratory, wearing the boot and, all this was something new and we were not so, convenient. But of course, students enjoyed it. It is a student days for them and they took a photo. I thought it will be really interesting in this period of, after 20 years, she is in United States and she has 2 children, and she came recently. A student who's also watching now, I have sent the link to her, and I feel really happy talking to all of you. And now I think many of you at home, when you're watching, you may not wear this mask, but I also put this because not only remembering my visiting NIN at this stage, but this is a must and social distancing, not like this, but real social distancing as emphasized during COVID-19. This is a photo taken not during COVID-19, before 20 years, as I said. So I thank these are the references. You can go to any reference and watch, update, and give more references to me as well as a learning experience. And of course, I thank the Nutrition Society of India, Mumbai Chapter, for giving this golden opportunity again. You can see the green leafy vegetables in this slide on top, and below again all the vegetables and fruits. So take them in excess, in the sense, remember the eat well plate. And I take this opportunity to remember our doyens, thank them, and Dr. Subhadra, of course, for her excellent initiative to organize this and bring in all the nutrition scientists per se in India, and also all the academicians and nutrition students, agriculture students, to bring this and an opportunity given to me. And I thank the frontline workers, as you see here, the medical officers, the nurses, the hygiene workers, and of course the educators, the FCI, the respective state governments, central governments, all the government authority, and the NSI President Dr. Hemlata and the entire team for making us really interesting to work online and permitting ourselves to organize as well as talk on this important day. Thank you very much. Please take care, stay safe, enjoy your lockdown with the meaning that which the government focuses, and focus on this topic which will make you really healthy and fit for the years to come, and enhancing the nutrition, security and immunity per se. Thank you very much.
That was a wonderful deliberation, Dr. Kowsalya. You have really covered various aspects of food security, and the topic was so difficult to deal with. So you have really put in a lot of efforts to collect information from various sources and rightly presented, touched upon various socioeconomic groups as well, while sharing your own, the information that you have also collected from your own city. And you have rightly pointed out the challenges in food security through different phases of lockdown period. And at the same time, you have emphasized the efforts of government in meeting the demands of food across the country. And ma'am, your inputs on the paucity or scarcity of food sources for various income groups, and the tips on how to manage the food security within the available sources through suitable examples of Indian dietary and Indian cuisine are really appreciated very well by the viewers. And we are very, very grateful to you for accepting our invite. Ma'am, can I have your video, please?
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Am I audible and am I seen? Namaskar.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and all the participants, academicians, wonderful organization. And I thank immensely. Yes.
Yeah, it was very good, ma'am. There are some very interesting questions actually in the from the viewers.
Okay.
Okay, and I will be taking, let us take some questions, because this is a topic of relevance to each and every one of us, okay, whoever we are professionally. Okay, there
Yes,
are many
definitely.
viewers who are actually householders who just want to know how to manage food security within the available sources. So they have also
Yes.
attended this session besides the nutrition experts, including students and professionals of various branches of
Oh,
nutrition.
that is great. That is
Yes,
great.
ma'am. So that is why your practical tips are very, very useful to every one of us.
Thank
So
you.
let's now take some questions. The first question is actually on the government sufficiency of the grant given by Indian government, that is 20 lakh crores they have given, okay, towards food security. And the question is, do you think it would suffice the need of the population towards food security? What is your opinion, ma'am?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. It was a brilliant question, but a very difficult question to answer. I'm not an economist, but still I've been viewing the different debates which are online. But as a nutrition scientist, I think now that it is an escalation of the cases, this will not be enough, but it depends on the government for allocations, as already we see from the experts who are from the stakeholder or from an administrator, that it is the complete allocation, and of course based on the consumer level also, this has to be adjusted to the local, that is the government's input as an allocation of 20 crore lakhs. I think we are yet to see this, and to some extent definitely we will fulfill. And now that it is on the rise, we will not be able to see how much it is practically possible. I think once the government disperses the money, they have already announced the finance minister, but it depends on whether it is rural sector or different sectors working right from production till the consumer, depends on this, and we will have to see. And based on this, and I think the government will take actions. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Actually, there is another question which is somewhat linked to your previous answer itself. That is to emphasize on role of Food Corporation of India in food security.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
It is the role of food security, role of Food Corporation of India in food security, ma'am. That is the question.
A role of Food Corporation,
of India. Yes.
So from the central government to the state government, it is the procurements are dispersed, and in Food Corporation of India, it is the entire administrative system that takes care of the bulk commodity on arrival from different states as per the state government's requirement, and each region is allocated this, and they safely store the food and distribute. And you know, even online you can see the various ration number of card holders, and accordingly it is distributed. This is the role of Food Corporation of India under the ministry, and it is very efficiently functioning, and I vouch that the Food Corporation of India through PDS is working very well, and in fact they have given tokens to all the places wherever I have done the survey in villages as well as in urban areas. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, they have to, as you say, they have to work as per the directions of central government. And of course, the storage practices that are being followed by FCI have been frequently questioned again and again. And I'm sure they must be looking into that. They must be looking into that.
I even checked. Yes. I even checked. I get a sample from my neighbor who gets, from my Eliama University. I just got a sample. It is very, very good. And now the cooking capacity also I tested. And you have to cook, and even she was able to produce some of the food products, she said, the fried foods and all that by grinding into flour. As I said, the vadam she prepared by using the ration shop, and she showed the sample, and she was very happy compared to even the previous years and all that. We always envisage, even as a student of wheat project, I was there as a research associate. I have also tested the storage stability, but But now it seems to be, because I am addressing this issue, I even checked the samples from someone who's getting the ration. It's very quite good and very clean. And of course, some of the husk and everything is there. Otherwise, it is very clean, very everything, all commodities I checked, because I may end up with this question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that input, because it really gives confidence in the minds of people about the foods that are available through PDS.
Oh, definitely, ma'am.
Yes,
Definitely.
it is. And ma'am, there is one more question. As you rightly said, definitely, as and how the phases are moving on from one to the other of lockdown, there is availability of food now. There is in many sections of the country. But however, the affordability is becoming a question because the cost of foods has increased manifold. Especially the
Definitely.
fresh produce of vegetables, fruits, etc. The cost is very, very high and probably unaffordable to mostly the middle and low socioeconomic groups. So in this situation, do you think fortified foods or food supplements play a role in meeting the food security?
Yes, fortified foods also play, but again, it is a question of the cost for a middle income or a low socioeconomic group. That is why I focused on the ICR labeling as the enriched, naturally grown, iron rich and zinc rich, rice and wheat samples and all others. You can go through the manual. But fortified foods are good. But again, high socioeconomic background can get it. And now it was not even available. For example, even it is not a fortified, but I want to say that the simple biscuit that we I could not purchase or get during the first period of lockdown. So it is the affordability in terms of cost by the consumer, whether he belongs to middle income or low socioeconomic. Of course, biofortified foods have a role to play, and not only as a food per se, or even a combination of foods or products play an important role. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There is a very interesting question right now popped up actually in the chat box. What is your opinion? In your opinion, what is the biggest threat to future food security?
Oh, definitely. Because, last year, the National Food Security Mission and all the others, and I think all of you know about the national, that is the Prime Minister's mission, which was started on Women's Day in 2018, and NIN also Poshan Abhiyan, through the mission and act that women and children are taken care. So India had led this under Prime Minister Ji, and we had actually promised that by 2022 there will not be any malnutrition or something in the country. But now that the threat that the global nations are facing, definitely it is a threat, and it goes. And as I get the figure, the micronutrient deficiency dominates among the affluent group, and malnutrition as such can be seen in the middle income or maybe very low socioeconomic group. Because in Poshan Abhiyan, it is taken by, the monitoring is taken care by Niti Aayog, and micronutrient deficiency is taken care. But during this period, there was no monitoring, and definitely it is a threat. And we cannot say that we will achieve this target by 2022. And the central government has to address and sit with all of us, in the sense that the policy makers and NIN has a role, and they have got the prize also for this. And many of you can go to the website of NIN and the central government website. And we have to rethink and re-govern ourselves, the central government, for this question as an answer, and pull over and see. Because yesterday in Tamil Nadu, the exams, 10th exams, all pass has come. So we will see how the increase in cases, and definitely it's a threat, and we have to give more emphasis, and that is why I am emphasized on, as you said, green leafy vegetables, the local gardens, and others, and with limited sources, we have to think. It is a policy decision when we have to take, the government has to decide with the local ministry and the government. And of course, the policy makers and the FCI, the food ministries, agriculture ministries with the stock available, and the state government and policy makers like NIN and others coming into place as stakeholders. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. You have rightly emphasized actually the role of different levels of government organizations in preparedness of the
Yes,
country
yes,
and of the
yes.
people for any future eventuality.
Because even last year in a news channel, our finance minister, when she was addressing about the subsidies given to agricultural, laborers and farmers and all that GDP and all that discussing, madam also emphasized that we have to assess, and there is no data as such in India. There are no data as such as about the even migrant workers and others, and so much care is taken to bring in policy issues apart from the 20 crore allotment, 20 crore lakh allotment. So it will come into force very quickly, and government will take initiative. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And there is one last question actually. Last but one, I should say. You have made a mention of many spices and condiments that we can use to improve our immunity. And though we have had a session on immunonutrition, since you have mentioned about betel leaf, there is a question on to just give few points on how betel leaf is useful. Because you can definitely throw light on the contribution of betel leaf even to food security. I'm sure you will be able to.
Yes. Betel leaves, all of you know, it's not a new entrant in food system in India. It's there in villages, and even after a wedding or a good occasion, we eat betel leaf with the nuts and other calcium-rich products and all that. It's been on but we forgot about that, and still it is remembered in villages, and it is given in the form of a different system, even served in restaurants. But as such, you can use the recipes. We have done research. Even Dr. Sylvia has done a research on this. The antioxidant capacity has been tested, and bioactive components are more in this. So what you can do, even you can take few leaves, and you can put, even if you are interested in preparing a bhaji form, you can prepare some bhaji. Bhaji means it's a batter of Bengal gram flour and all that, and you can put this and fry and eat. Or what I do normally is, as I said, I prepare a decoction and drink and give others also. Otherwise, what I do is I prepare like a panipuri or belpuri. What I do with the puffed rice, I put all the whatever it is raw, the onion, carrots, tomatoes, and green chilies, if not little capsicum, and you can cut the betel leaves also into it and put. And the taste of the astringent taste of this betel leaves will be really good, because if you don't want to, sometimes what I do, if I have excess in the as stored one, I take two and even eat and eat as such the whole leaf itself, two leaves, because I don't like tasting with the nut. So even that is very good. But you can just eat two leaves. But you can incorporate this all in your salads, or maybe you can add in the form of whatever you recipe, cook and put it down. You can cut this and add like coriander and cut leaves, and just you can put. The taste will be slightly different. Initially, it will suit panipuri, belpuri, but it will suit into all dishes. Once your acceptability really, it tastes better. And you can add into, like you are adding like all the others, like curry leaves, coriander leaves. You can cut into small pieces and throw in the sense you can add as a garnishing in sambar, even rasam, in all the other dishes, and make it as a habit. And you can grow this. I'm growing this in the pot with little a stick, because it is like a climber. It is coming. I take, and even during Deepavali or during Navratri also, I use this. You know why? This is very subiksham, they say, and because maybe potentially it's for its bioactive principles from the golden days of our olden days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a very, very well answered question, actually, how to incorporate also the betel leaf. And it can be treated not only for its more, in addition to using it as a source of bioactive compounds, also like a leaf, giving us the iron and other types of micronutrients as well.
Calcium and
Calcium,
vitamin A, all that is there.
Exactly. So towards food security as well, this is going to be useful. But of course, we have plenty of so many leafy vegetables and so many sources of all these
Yes,
micronutrients.
yes,
We
yes,
only
yes.
need the knowledge how to
Yes,
use
yes.
it. So thank you so much for all your practical tips, ma'am.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
anyways, with just one message, like no immunonutrition, now everybody's attention is on how to use food and how to improve immunity. Though there are many sessions being organized and lot of information is being made available online to every household, the thing is everybody should remember that it is not an outcome of overnight. Like no, just a single day you cannot improve your immunity. So there was
Definitely,
one
definitely.
question that how to prepare. So the preparedness is like no, following regularly the balanced diet with all macro and micronutrients
Yes, yes.
consumed in the right amounts. So that's the only way to maintain your immunity through nutrition. Of course, the
Yes.
other ways have to be added on to that. So thank you
Can
very
I,
much.
can I,
Dr. Kaushalya.
can I give a word, one word?
Please, ma'am, please.
Because you said homemakers and community housewives are also there.
Yes.
It is to take care. It is lockdown. So whether you are working women, professors, or non-working, definitely you are the stakeholder at home, and you have to monitor for the RDA. So see that all the balanced diet, the form of cereals, pulses, oil seeds, green leafy vegetables, other vegetables, fruits are taken care, and try to make it as a habit, so that when this lockdown is reversed, when they go to office and other offices or schools and colleges, make it a habit and take it in that way. It should not be eaten in a hurry also. So maybe this lockdown is a God-given period for adapting ourselves in knowledge, attitude, and definitely as a practice, as a balanced diet. It is over a period of time. Maybe we should prepare, and 3 months was good enough for iron restoring, but still, if we have not done so, we have to do this the right time. Thank you, ma'am, for the extra point given to me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kowsalya.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you so much.
inputs on this particular topic are really very important to every one of us. And you have received a lot of appreciation from all our viewers. And I once again thank you on behalf of our chapter for accepting our invite. And in spite of your busy schedule, you could come on to the session to answer the question answers. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you,
all-
ma'am. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank
All
you.
the participants and organizers. Thank you.
And thank you all viewers for enjoy. I'm sure you have got a lot of inputs from Dr. Kowsalya and from this session. And please follow our social media groups for further announcements. We are coming up with many more useful topics on nutrition and useful webinar series also, which are being announced on the social media time to time. Please follow us on our social media and make the best use of